Tuesday, December 17th, 2019, the 17th day of Whiskey Advent with the Scotch Whisky Advent Calendar 6th edition. Which Scotchiness is in store for us today? Stay tuned for the Whiskey Whistle. Feliz Navidad, my whiskey friends. Mark here at Whiskey Whistle on YouTube, sharing a little whiskey awesomeness from Elkhorn Resort in Manitoba, bringing you the Scotch Whisky Advent Calendar 6th edition, day 17. What is in store for us today? Uh-oh! Guess what? There was a mishap, and I've already actually recorded one whole episode and had a mic failure. Oh, don't like that. But there it is, day 17. And I've got my day 17 POG as well, keeping that, as you know, for something unique. And we will get that poured. Really sorry about that. What do you do though? Technical difficulties. Looks like I'll have to go all in with this one. Last chance. Oh, I didn't even show you yet. Well, okay, so this is from Weems Malts. It's called Watermelon Wedge. And this is a single grain Scotch whiskey from North British. North British is the distillery, and this was distilled in 2008. The cask type is barrel, probably refill bourbon, I would imagine. And the cask number is WVM264. The region is lowland, and this is 46% ABV. So it's a single grain Scotch whiskey. What does that mean? Single means it's from a single distillery. Grain, in this case, there are two ways to arrive at grain whiskey, single grain Scotch whiskey. One is you're using a column still, which is a big tall apparatus that has multiple plates that distills and distills and distills and gets it up to 90 something, up to 99%, I believe is the limit, percent alcohol. They usually run it much lower than that though, and there's actually a legal maximum for that in Scotland. Remember, it must smell and taste like Scotch whiskey. So that's one of the stipulations there. Now, that's one way. The second way is any grain except for malted barley into a pot still and distilled 2, 3 times, 4 times, whatever, and you will get also single grain Scotch whiskey. Now, North British, they use the big, tall column stills, and I don't know much about that distillery because I've actually never had one on the show. The only other single grain I've had was a Loch Lomond, which was actually 100% barley malt done in a column still. The other popular grain whiskey, this is a blended grain that I've had, is Hedonism from Compass Box. So let's get into this one. First of all, we'll check the color out. What do you see for color, folks? Rather pale. I think this is the palest one in the box. It's pale straw, it's all natural, and I'm very happy about that. It's beautiful. Now let's check out the legs. And you may have noticed the fire behind me. Yep, I'm at Elkhorn Resort with my family on a holiday and, well, stealing some time for you. All right, here we go. North British legs, 10-year-old. Fairly brisk first legs. They've already reached the bottom. The secondary legs are a little bit slower. I would call these medium-ish thickness for legs and rather brisk for speed. So I'm expecting a light to medium body for this one. Let's see if I'm right. All right, let's check the nose out. Let's see what we got here. Unmistakable grain, single grain Scotch whiskey. And if you're into Canadian whiskey at all, there is a real similarity between the single grain and some of the 100% rye whiskeys that we get here in Canada, which are typically distilled in a column still as well. This is likely corn, however. It could be wheat. It just depends on market prices. But quite spicy. Gingery, pepper. The tiniest little bit of something sort of minty in there, sweet mint. There's also something kind of like sweet cucumber. Now they've called this watermelon wedge. And I can see this similarity because what I'm getting here is cucumber. Somebody else might get as watermelon rind. Keep in mind those are in the same family of whatever they are. Are they fruits? Are they vegetables? Is watermelon, is that a fruit or a vegetable? Interesting nose. Very spicy. Okay, on to the palate. Cheers, folks. You get this initial hit of sweetness, like icing sugar. And then that spice really kicks you in the teeth. This is 46% going on 60. Tons of white pepper, raw ginger. That tiniest hint of icing sugar in there. A little bit of something like jalapeno. It's pretty spicy on the tongue. Very sharp on the tongue. And really a dead ringer for 100% rye. The inside of my mouth is all dry. The finish for this is short, but the dryness, of course, carries on and on and on. Right now, I can say that I probably wouldn't want to buy that for myself unless I wanted to use it for just for blending, home blending, to make blended Scotch whiskey at home with my single malts and a bit of this. Okay, let's add some water. I'm going to be adding quite a bit actually. I'm going to go for 20. 1, 2, whoa, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. There we go. You might think that's a lot, but again, this is only about 1.4, 1.5 milliliters of water added. Not very much. And also, even though it's 46%, which is usually good drinking strength, this one is actually really, really, really potent. And I feel it needs a little bit of water. Okay. The nose. A little bit more of that cucumber note is coming out here. Sweet bell peppers. Waxed apple skins. The tiniest hint of brown sugar appearing on the nose now. Let's get into the palate with water. Cheers, folks. Much, much easier to handle. It's really toned down that sharpness. The jalapeno, the pepper, the ginger subsiding, bringing out some of that light brown sugar. Icing sugar. Some vanilla sugar. Lots of sugars here. 10 years old. And I think this probably would be nice at 20 for me, maybe 30 years, given the cask. And I can see why they like to put that in a, well, I've got nothing left in there, in a refill cask, because it really lets that distillery character, the spirit character, to shine. If you put that into a first fill bourbon or virgin oak or first fill sherry, you'll end up with a very one-sided flavor. Whereas here, we at least get all of these really unique, fresh spirit notes coming through. Matured just enough to make it palatable. I can see a tequila or even a mezcal lover really enjoying this. And unfortunately, I have nothing left to share. Well, time to get on to the WhiskyWhistle Whiskey Score for Weems Malt's Watermelon Wedge from North British. 10 years old, 46% ABV. What's that going to be, folks? It's going to be 77 out of 100. You heard it, 77 out of 100 is the WhiskyWhistle Whiskey Score for Weems Malt's The Watermelon Wedge from North British. Really interesting. I'm so happy I got to try this, and I'm very, very thrilled to find a single grain Scotch whiskey in our Scotch Whiskey Advent calendar. I think it's very fitting. I think it's a great education, and I think if you're not that crazy about it, then have some fun with it. Take the half bottle or the 2/3 of the bottle that you have left and mix that with, I'm thinking something like Old Pulteney would be a good match for this. Old Pulteney, maybe maybe Hazelburn would be interesting from Springbank Distillery. Deanston would be nice. Yep. I think something bourbon matured would do very well with this. So interesting. So I hope you enjoyed that. If you just joined WhiskyWhistle for the first time, make sure you click the emblem here to subscribe to the channel. Then hit the bell, ding ding, so you're notified of the future Whiskey Whistles. That helps me a lot, and it'll keep you up to date with what's coming on the channel. If you've been watching WhiskyWhistle daily, you're binging WhiskyWhistle, I know there's a few of you, then jump in and join the WhiskyWhistle crew on Patreon and support the channel. Patreon.com/WhiskyWhistle. You'll find it. Take care, everybody. We'll see you on December 18th.